Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Amasid and today we're going over loot from 20 5-way Legion battles. For those who don't know, Legion came out, I want to say maybe a year ago or so, year and a half ago or so. And it was essentially you acquire 5 emblems. First you have to do 4, do a 4-way battle. Then you acquire 5 of these emblems which you get off Legion encounters. And it basically you enter the domain of timeless conflict and you go in there, fight, and basically kill as many monsters and bosses as you can in 5 minutes 15 seconds. And you get a lot of loot, a lot of stuff drops. So you can see here, this is all stuff I've received. I'll walk through everything in just a minute. I've also built a spreadsheet that I'll go through. Each set of stones cost me about 3x, so the total investment was 60x for everything, and we recouped 101x, giving us a total profit of 41x, and I'll walk through this in just a moment. We had quite a selection of loot, and yes, anyway, so in terms of pure currency, this is currency that either dropped or I did sell a couple things, and I'll walk through what I sold. So I have 26 exalts, just pure exalts. I sold, I got 1 pair of Asenath's Gentle Touch, which I sold for 12x. And then I also I had a level 3 enhanced drop, which I just kind of volled and miraculously hit level 4. So I sold that for 3x. Other than that, it was pure exalts for the most part, as well as selling a few of these timeless jewels. So I received a total of 58 timeless jewels, so it's just under 3 timeless jewel average per run. I think there was a few that I had 4. I remember, I think one time I got 1, but for the most part it was in the 2s and 3s, mostly 3s. I have these in a price 1 exalt bucket, so theoretically these will all sell for an X. I've been selling, it's really these ones I'm really not expecting to sell much of in terms of an X. But I priced that into the spreadsheet. There are a couple here that I think are worth a little bit more because they have non-curse aura effect, which is about 2 or 3x. So I think those will sell between 2 and 3x. But other than that, these should sell for an X each. These should sell for an X each. These won't, and these ones may sell for just under an X. So on average, I think it'll end up coming to about an X total per jewel. So in terms of pure chaos, I sold a few things as well. Nothing too major. I got 1 primordial jewel. I can't remember which one it was, which I sold for 70 chaos. But I did sell a couple random things here and there. But I did just get a lot of just baseline, just chaos drops. I think I was averaging maybe 10 to 20 chaos per run, just in terms of pure chaos drops. I broke it down further by... I also sold 3 ancient orbs for 60 chaos. So I did break it down more specifically by what we sold or what we have in terms of currency, and the total was about 35.8 exalts. Maps, these are estimates. So these are just estimates based on how many maps we had and of what colors. So my estimate was we had about 220. These are in chaos, which I then converted to X for context. Column B is chaos, column C is exalts. So an estimate is about 3.25 exalts worth of maps. Fragments, we received sacrifices of all of the sort of the basics sac frags. I also received fragments of the Minotaur, Chimera, and Enslavement, as well as Mortal Grief. So just again, more of an estimate in terms of total sales, we get about 1.3x, with really the majority weighted towards Elder and Shaper. The normal sac frags aren't really worth that much this league. And I think just generally speaking, they won't be worth that much in the future. Prophecies, I didn't get to pick up too many prophecies. I left quite a bit on the ground. I estimate these as about a chaos a pop, probably a little bit less. But I put it as about a chaos each. So it's 20 chaos, which is about just a little under a quarter of an X. And for context, I have X currently, as of today, is 87C per X. Essences, again, you can see here, not super valuable. I estimated at chaos or less per essence. Not super valuable. Again, about a quarter of an X. Splinters, we have a few over here. We've got every single one. Really, the only one of value is Chayula, which is about 1-to-1. Other than that, they're not worth all that much. So we had 0.3x in splinters. Fossils, I did sell a bunch of my fossils, but we received some corrodids, a couple enchanteds, etc. So we got about 120 chaos in fossils, about 1.4x. Incubators. So if you caught a moment ago, I have almost a full quad stash tab full of incubators. Incubators, I mean, they just drop like crazy. I mean, obviously incubators are a part of Legion League, so it would make sense that they drop a lot. I tried to be as specific as I could. So the per means that this is how much they are in chaos per incubator. This is the amount, just for the sake of building the sheet, made it easier. So I received the most currency in terms of foreboding, followed by not foreboding, ornate, into foreboding, into skittering. So obviously selling all these incubators is just not feasible. I really wouldn't. What a nightmare it would be to sell a full quad tab full of incubators. But this is theoretically what they'd be worth if I were to sell them at market price today. So we priced that in with just under 10x worth of incubators, which is not bad, honestly. I mean, if I really want to take time, this is early in the league and I didn't want to use these incubators, I would sell them. But at this point, I probably won't sell them. I'll keep them, and I guess they'll rot in standard. Divination cards, I did get about 60 stack decks in addition to sort of these baseline cards that dropped. I valued these at I believe half a chaos or a third of a chaos per card, just to average it out. None of these were all that valuable. I did get a couple that were worth something, but I sold those and just those are incorporated into the original currency calculation. So just about 30 chaos and divination cards. Timeless jewels, as I mentioned, sort of the breakdown of that. I believe total in terms of what's remaining, we've got 33x worth of timeless jewels. The brutal restraints and the elegant hubris's are not worth an exalt each. The lethal prides roughly are, glorious vanity roughly are. Militant faith, I valued it just under an x each, excluding the 4 that I separated. In terms of other unsold items, so I have a separate tab here for items that we're selling in terms of rares, bases, etc. The only real item of significant value is a item level 86 Marble Shaper Amulet. It does have movement speed on it, but it will likely be re-rolled anyway, so I don't think that matters. These sell for between 8 and 10x, so this was really the only the super valuable base that's occurring here. There's a couple other random items, just like this jewel was pretty decent. I don't know how much this helm enchant would sell for, but again, the nice thing about running Domain of Timeless Conflict is that they all drop item level 86. So I have a few things that are just item level 86 bases. But so I would say this probably will end up being closer to 10 to 12x, but that amulet should sell for 8 to 10x, no problem. Scarabs, I did sell a bunch of scarabs, but from the ones that remain, nothing super significant here. I sold my sulfite scarabs, I sold my breach scarabs, I sold my legion scarabs, which are all the ones that people are running right now. So of the remaining scarabs, I valued at about 35 chaos. I valued about 35 chaos, and all in all, that puts us at a total amount recouped of 101 exalts, giving us a total gain of 41x. I personally, this was a painful run, just because running these is fun. I mean, obviously you have to have a headhunter to run these. I don't think it's even worthwhile to run without a headhunter. But just looting after these, there's so much loot, so much time to go through this loot, so much stuff to sell. It's a huge pain. I'm glad I did it once, but I'm never going to do it again. So yeah, all in all, it went pretty well. I'm happy with this gain. Once all these jewels, if they were to sell, then this would be fantastic, but we're sort of waiting on that eventuality, which may never come, just because we're at this point in the league where it's already been, 2 months into the league at minimum. So anyway, that's the video. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.